Take Chop.
Take Chop? Take Chop? Hey there, it's me, Gazbot, once again for another Gazbot's Toy Shots. As I mentioned last time, unfortunately these episodes, the sound got messed up, so I'm doing my best to salvage what we have so I can still show you what I got and why I got it and how I got it and for what prices and all that sort of loveliness. But without further ado, let's jump on into my mostly voiceover episode of Gazbot's Toy Shots. Here we are. Good.
Okay, so I cut out some of my preamble, but basically what I'm talking about is the San Jose Comic and Toy Show here in the Bay Area that happens about once every 3 months. And I say, let's cut to the footage now.
It's a rainy day at the fairgrounds. Lovely.
So as I said, this is the San Jose Toy Show at the fairgrounds. It happens about once every 3 months. I usually go once a year, sometimes twice. It's big. It takes a whole day to see everything usually, and you can find a little bit of everything from comic book stuff to Hot Wheels to vintage Japanese stuff, new, old comic books, whatever. They have an early pass you could get, which the big dog who I went with got. I meant to get it but forgot to buy it online, and I got there early. But it's a thing where, okay, you could get there early and buy it early, but then you have to stand online, and it was raining. So he went right in, and I waited around. Now, you just saw a thing for Teddy Sears, who plays Jay Garrick on the Flash TV series. And they were advertising him being there, and they don't usually have a lot of celebrities, and he was kind of a bigger get for them. But the announcer kept spoiling plot points of the TV show The Flash multiple times. He kept repeating major plot points that had just been revealed that week. So that was terrible. You can see here there's a lot of Power Ranger Super Sentai stuff, which I collected, so does the big dog. But the prices were not great. There's one vendor that I've seen a few times at this show and other local shows, always has amazing stuff. And it's more than you would get it for on eBay or Amazon. I don't know why. It's just quite expensive, so it's kind of fun to look. The whole show is very fun to look at, as you can see. There's there's Star Trek, and there's some doll. I don't even know what it's from. There's a lot of cheap Star Trek figures, the Playmate ones from the 90s especially. If you wanted to fill your set, you could have done that. And then there's stuff like this where it's kind of loose, and you'd think, oh, these will be like $1 each, $2 each. But sometimes it doesn't add up. If it's nicely presented, it has all the accessories, you're going to expect to pay more money. But some people expect to get that same price for stuff that's missing accessories and loose just because they see it on the other tables, I guess. It's always worth going. It's always a good day. It's always a lot of fun to see stuff. I see something I haven't seen before, and I always come away with something either because I found a good deal or because it was something that I'd been looking for or didn't know existed, and this time was no different. I came away with a few things which, of course, I will be talking about in the remainder of the video. We're getting towards the end of the footage here, and one of the things I got was I collect Ranger keys, and if you've watched my videos, you know that. And I found a bin of Ranger keys, the Japanese ones, and I got 2 that are semi-rare. Oh, these were Japanese G.I. Joe figures that I really wanted to get one because they had cool packaging, but they were like $40, $60, and it wasn't worth it for the novelty because they're the same as the figures we had. Okay. And back to Silent Gaz in the studio. Here I'm complaining about how the big dog got in early and I couldn't, and I remembered something. I remembered to buy my ticket the night before, but they stopped selling online at like 7 o'clock. So if you're thinking about going to the show, or any show really, and you want to get an early bird ticket, don't wait until the night before because you might be stuck standing in the rain, like I was. But he went in early, and he picked something up for me. This. And what is this? Well, this is a Ninja Turtle figure. It's from the 90s Playmates line. It was one of the later runs when they started giving him gimmicks. This was Donatello, but he was punk rock Donatello. And unfortunately, this was the only punk rock version. I think there were other rocker versions. This might have just been called Rocker Donnie, but there were other genres. I think Michelangelo was like a rapper or whatever. And he originally came with a keytar, I believe. I mainly just collect the 4 main vanilla turtles, and I have a few sets of them. I don't usually go in for the gimmicky ones, but I have a soft spot for the punk rock, especially 80s. It's like stereotypical goofball outfits like that. And the big dog got it for me. He's in good condition. He's clean. He was $5. Honestly, I think I would have paid more like $3. I mean, I don't know. If I was there, I might have picked him up. I would have haggled a little bit, only because he's missing his accessories. But he's pretty cool, and he is punk rock Donatello. So, oi, oi, oi. I did the same thing I did there. All right, moving on. What is the next thing that we're going to find from the San Jose Toy Show? Well, it is this. Now, what's this? This is Mother of Ultra. This is a vinyl or Sofubi figure. This is 6-inch. Nowadays, they have 5-inch Spark dolls. This is the older series, which scale well if you have Ultra Act or SH Figure Arts figures, which is exactly what I did with her. I put her on the shelf next to my Ultra Act Ultraman figures and Ultra Heroes figures. She's from that universe, but her SH Figure Arts figure is much more expensive. I got this for $5. It's not in mint condition. It's in good condition. There was a couple little scuffs on it. But they normally retail in the neighborhood of $30, and she goes for 50 on up because she was a Tamashii Web exclusive. Blah 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 blah. I kind of wanted her. Q wanted me to have her in the collection. I do a Father of Ultra as an SH figure art, but I got him for $35, and he comes with all kinds of accessories and a cape. And Mother of Ultra just wasn't that as exciting as SH figure arts, especially considering she costs more. So I was happy to pick up the vinyl of her. So what's up next is funny. I actually got these. Here they come. Boom! These are Ranger keys, the Japanese Bandai of Japan. It's the Green Ranger and the White Ranger from Mighty Morphin, otherwise known as Burai, the Dragon Ranger from Z Ranger, and Kiba Ranger from Dai Ranger. But to us, they're both Tommy. And they are sort of not rare, but uncommon, let's say. And they typically on eBay are going to go for 10, 15, somewhere around there in perfect condition. These were both in a bin, actually at that overpriced one I was talking about. But they had a bin of Ranger keys, mostly common, mostly beat up, mostly red, which are usually the more common ones. But they had a few in there like these. The White Ranger, there was a few of them, but they were all missing their head. So I had to dig through and find a head that I could stick on there. And this one had the least damaged sticker, but it was still damaged. The Green Ranger was the only one in there. Actually looks really good. It has a painted chest, which is the better kind, or the Deluxe DX kind. The sticker on the back of it, unfortunately, was a bit scraped up, but I typically don't display them with the sticker on the back showing, so that's fine. But what I did do was get them for $5 each, which would be a great deal if they were in perfect condition. But since I found the head, fished it out, stuck it on, and I knew I could then take some crazy glue and glue the sticker down, because I've done that with some others I have that weren't damaged, which just wouldn't stick down. And because a lot of the scuffs he had were on black, I knew I could use a Sharpie to fix it up. So that's what I did. As you can see here on the left, his sticker was quite messed up. And on the right, the Dragon Ranger, the Green Ranger, his paint was pretty good, especially for kicking around a bin. With a little crazy glue and a little bit of Sharpie, it looks pretty good. If you pick it up and inspect it, you could tell it's not flawless, but on my shelf, it looks great. So we can call that a, let's say, $13 key that I got for $5 and a little bit of effort, which is, you know, the kind of stuff that you like to find, you know, little cheap beat-up ones for not bad price, or a great big collectible that you can't find anywhere. What you don't like seeing, or what I don't like seeing, is stuff that's relatively common and easy to come by, but overpriced. Things that are not in stores right now because of the people that have bought them and brought them to shows. This is something I've complained about before, blah, blah, blah. Moving on to more friendly, happy things. What did I find next? Well, it's some Star Wars figures. Yep, Force Awakens Star Wars figures. Now, going with what I was just saying, these are common figures you could find at stores now. This is the Poe Dameron, and as you can see, it was $5. I'm not particularly a fan of that sculpt. It doesn't even look like the actor, but I do collect X-Wing pilots, so it'll fit right in on that shelf. And this is the newer line, which has great artwork. They have like nice portraits of each character, but only 5 points for articulation: the arms, the legs, and the head. And they all come with these gimmicky things that I've talked about before, which I don't particularly want, but they're good play value for the kids, and you stick them together and they become a big thing. And if you take them off, they look like a plain character, like in the movie, so I enjoy that. He was $5. The TIE Fighter pilot was $5. I said to the guy, hey, would you take 8 for both? He said yes. So I got these for about half of retail, which is great because they're common peg warmers, as they're called. They're not the ones that everybody wants. I'm sorry, I misspoke. This was $6 and $5. I believe I got them for $9. So the point is I got $2 off of what it would have been. And neither one I was dying for, but for $4.50 each, that's a great deal. And I was happy to get it. And I opened them up and threw them on my Imperial Stormtrooper shelf and my X-Wing pilot shelf respectively. So go. This next one is awesome. Here it is. It's an Ultraman figure. It's an Ultra Hero. It is not Ultraman. It's Ultraman Jack, who looks very similar to the original Ultraman that was Hayata that most people know. This costume is very similar, but it has different piping. Now, this is from a line that I have not collected before. I forget what it's called now. I want to say Sound Heroes. And the big dog pointed out to me because he knows I'm an Ultraman fan. And I was very lukewarm. I don't know, maybe. I collect the Ultra Act. I have a few vinyls. Do I really need that one? I don't know. I don't know why I was hesitating, and he's like, well, what would you pay for it? I'm like, $10. And I think part of why I was hesitating is because at a show like this, they would have it at $30 or something, which is more than I wanted to pay, especially for a line I don't particularly collect. And I have the SH Figure Art Ultra Act of this character, too, this exact version. But I opened them up, and for a retail toy that's a little bit older, he's well packaged, he's very well articulated, I'm showing it off right here, and he makes sound. And you press his little timer, and he makes the sound like when he grows, and shut, and the battery still worked. $10 it was. I said, hey, I'd pay $10 is what he asked me. They asked how much it was, $10. He bought something else, got it down to, I believe, $8. This figure is worth more than $8 for sure. I've looked online. I haven't found this figure, but I found others from the line that go for about 25 bucks. But more importantly, it is worth that. Like, regardless of what it says. You can see here it scales not too bad with the vinyl. He's a little bit taller than the vinyl, a little bit taller than SH Figure Arts, but he's a great figure. If I saw any more in the line for $10, I would snap him up. For 25, I don't know. I'm not saying he's not worth 25, but it was a great deal that I don't know why I hesitated, and I owe a big thanks to the big dog. And he's great. And if you don't have a version of the character, even if for 25, he's good. He's good, guys. He's good. I like him. He's my friend. And speaking of Ultraman, here is the Ultraman Clash and Thrash City set. Now, this is English, as you can see. This was from Ultraman Great, I believe, which was English. There was Ultraman Power and Ultraman Great were the two English versions, natively English, not translated to English. One was in Australia/New Zealand, and the other was in America. And I believe this was the one from Australia. Great. And it's a game. I didn't get it to be a game, and I paid, I believe, 20 bucks. I think they wanted 25. I offered them 20. I don't regret getting it, but it's not. There's a different set that is better that I kind of thought I was getting, and I realized it wasn't as I was buying it, and I got it anyway. It was a good deal. I mean, I saved on shipping if nothing else, but I don't think I got it for much less than it's actually worth. And considering I'm not going to play the game, it's mainly, you can see the pieces here, I like to use them as a diorama display. Now, it does come with a couple little minifigures, but yeah, I'm kind of sitting on this. I've had it for a while now, and it's sitting in my closet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Maybe I'll bust it out and play a game of it while we're watching monster movies one day. But, yeah, I was much happier with it earlier in the day, too, because I bought it. It was one of the first things I saw. I was like, oh, my gosh, am I going to get this? Then after that, I got those Star Wars figures. After that, I got the Sound Ultraman Jack that I just showed you, and another big purchase later in the day. So this was something that at the beginning of the day I was happy with. By the end of the day, I was like, I probably could have skipped it. But it's not a bad price, and I also have some other diorama pieces, some small buildings that I picked up here and there. If I hadn't, this would have been a much better get for me to put with my Godzilla figures, my Ultra Heroes, and things like that. So I'm not against it. And actually, you can see the power lines there is the thing I'm most excited about. And actually, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, I should open that up. So I'm not saying don't get this. I'm saying don't get this and then buy, $75 worth of stuff afterwards. But the big score of the day was this. It's so big, it could barely fit on the table. It's the 18-inch Ultraman. It's called the Flash Motion Ultraman. Flash motion. Sound, light, movement, takes batteries. It's huge. I went to Japan last year, and I was kind of looking for a gigantic Ultraman, and this is sort of what I was looking for. I didn't find it there. I found it here. This is the original Ultraman design, the Hayata, the first from the 60s. This toy, though, came out later. I believe it was in the 90s or 2000s. I put it up in the description, I'm sure. And it was hard for me to find out much information about it. I tried to look on eBay, and I found a few that had sold a while back but didn't have a lot of description. There's a vendor there that has a lot of vintage Ultraman and Godzilla stuff that I was trying to ask about, and they didn't really know what I was talking about. The guy wasn't really budging on the price much. I think it was 90 and I got it for 85, and he kind of gave me a dirty look even getting $5 off. I'm not sure if I got it for a good price. Maybe it's possible to get it cheaper, but this was a case of I really wanted it. This is the definitive Ultraman showpiece of my collection. He's amazing. He has the box. The box has a little rip on it, but it's in perfect condition. The batteries haven't been unsealed, so it's new in box. I almost don't want to look into it too much because I'm just going to assume I got it for a fair price or a good deal. But the bigger thing is I haven't seen it. I've never seen it at a show. I hadn't seen it on eBay until I looked it up, and the sales were from months earlier. So, and if I got it online, the shipping would kill me. So even if it was $20 cheaper, that would be the shipping right there. But this was something I got towards the end of the show, which is what I was saying. After I got this, I kind of regretted buying the game because I didn't want to spend as much money as I did at the show. And really, this is, all I want to hear. I'm pointing behind me because I'm saying I'm going to put him on the speaker right there once I open him up. And so he is fantastic. I love him. That's it for me, but one last thing I got was this. And what this is not for me, but for my buddy Josh B, who runs Collection DX, which you should check out if you never have. I sometimes do reviews for them and stuff. But this is Vehicle Voltron, who's also known as Dairuger, and he it's a bootleg. It's a crazy, crappy piece of garbage bootleg. They had 2 different color variations. They were $5 each, and his 2 biggest collections are Dairuger and Raideen. And he likes to get every version of, a paper plate with the face on it, everything you can get, bootlegs, whatever. And somehow he had never seen this. I sent him the picture. He's like, oh my gosh, yes, get it for me. So I was thrilled to be able to find something. It was fun because I was doing him a favor, but I was also more thrilled that I found something he didn't know existed. So it was an exciting thing, even though it was a cheap piece of junk. And I got myself this big, expensive Ultraman, got him a cheap piece of junk. Everybody wins. And that's what happens sometimes at the San Jose Toy Show. Now back to Gazbot in the studio with actual sound.
And there you have it. Once again, having to deal with sort of the found footage, although it wasn't found footage, it was footage that I created incorrectly. Here's a little tip. I have one of these mics that, it's a lapel mic they call it, has a little battery, like a watch battery in the wire, and that died, and that's why I had sound issues. So if you're creating videos, check your batteries, folks. In the meantime, this has been Gazbot for Gazbots.